During my first year as a mom, I had a lot of upper body aches and pains from nursing and carrying my baby, lifting her. If you are a parent of a baby or a small child, keep watching. This self-massage is definitely for you. So as parents of young children, we do a lot of lifting, holding, carrying. All of our postural alignment gets out of whack because we're always rounded over the child. We might not be lifting correctly. Our shoulders tend to go up. They tend to round forward. We get arm stiffness and pain. You can even develop a thumb injury. But let's do some self-massage today to alleviate the upper body, all of that tension, and then you'll feel better. And you'll even be a better parent because when you take care of yourself, you're better at taking care of others. So we'll start with that upper trapezius that always gets so tight. It pulls our shoulders up, pulls our ears towards our shoulders. So we're going to relax that down. You can take sort of a duck grasp like this. You can use your full fist or just fingertips. So I have my thumb on the front, my fingers on the back, however it feels good to you. Depends on sort of how much tissue you have up there and how much you want to grab and work at once. With the fingers, it's a little more specific. You can find some different points. With a whole hand, you can just sort of breathe into it and just let all the tension out. Either way, it feels good. Do both, explore. I encourage you to find the ways that feel best to you so you know how to massage your own body and take care of yourself. So I'm just going to make some little circles with my fingers here, exploring up and down the muscle, seeing if I can find any tension or tight spots, and actually there are quite a few. And when you find a good spot, just hold it and breathe. Try breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Nice deep breath. And letting it go. Sometimes it just feels so good to breathe. We forget to take deep breaths, right? So often. And when we're rounded forward, it's even harder because our lungs are sort of in a collapsed position. So we can't really get a nice deep breath and really fill down to the diaphragm and all the organs underneath. So sitting up nice and tall, relaxing that upper trapezius. And then if you want, when you find a good spot, hold it and you can do a little active release if it's not too intense. So meaning bringing the opposite ear towards the shoulder as you hold that point. Very slowly. Everything is very slow. You don't want to surprise your muscles. They don't like that. Coming out of it very slowly. And then you can find another point, maybe something closer to the neck. The upper trapezius runs all the way up the neck. And then you can hold that and do a nice little active release. If that is too intense, just stay with massaging the shoulder. You don't need to do this. Keep breathing though, whatever you're doing, keep that breath flowing. And when you feel that shoulder's been worked well, we can move on. So remember, you can grasp the whole shoulder or use fingers and just start doing little circles, just like this, sort of like rolling a little ball in my fingertips, looking for places. And when you find a good spot, just put a nice amount of pressure so that it feels like a release. You don't want any pain. We're trying to alleviate pain. So maybe it feels a little intense or a little sore. That's fine, as long as it's extremely tolerable and feels good at the same time. So go ahead and take one of those nice deep breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. And as you exhale, feel your shoulders relaxing down a little more. Just starting to drop down to the sides. And some more exploration. You can go towards the outside of the shoulder, you can go up towards the neck, and if you'd like, we can add some of that active movement. So holding a good spot and then slowly bringing your opposite ear towards the shoulder. And remember, you're not bringing your shoulder to the ear. Keep those shoulders down and relaxed, and just bring your ear over to the side. Feels so good. Breathing. Don't forget to breathe while you stretch, and come out of it very slowly. Very slowly. And we'll find one more spot just like that. And stretching it out if you'd like, if it's not too intense. If it feels good up to a point, then only go up to that point. Don't push the stretch any farther than it wants to go right now. Just listening to your body, that's most important. And then slowly coming up. Give that a few more squeezes. That just relaxes the whole body, doesn't it? Just to have that upper trapezius relax. It's pretty amazing. So we're going to open up through the pectorals a little bit because we round so much, especially if you're nursing your child. We need to get those shoulders back and down, right? So you're going to find your breastbone, which is your sternum, right? It's a flat bone right in front here. And find your clavicle, which is your collarbone. Go right off that breastbone underneath the clavicle. So to the side of the breastbone, under the collarbone, you're going to gather up the tissue, just meaning put some pressure in and then out towards the side. So that's the trajectory. I'm not moving over the skin. I'm actually engaging the tissue. I'm pressing in and pulling it towards this way, but I'm not moving over it. So I'm just holding it in this direction. And as you do that, you just breathe and you wait for the tissue to release. And as it does, you'll feel your fingers begin to move outwards towards the shoulder. And it's a lovely release. Go easy. It could be tender. You just want enough so that you feel a nice release and it feels good. Take some nice deep breaths. On the exhales, see if you can relax it a little more. So on the inhales, fill it up with goodness, healing energy, nutrients, oxygen, and then on the exhale, let all the tension go. So now I'm going a little bit lower. We were just under the clavicle. Now go a little bit lower, right off the sternum. And again, engage the tissue, and we're going to the next. You might be able to feel your upper ribs here. And we'll just do that myofascial release all the way out. Feels so good. And of course, if you have a lot of breast tissue here and you're nursing, it could be tender. Just don't do that area. Just go up above if you can. You can add a little active movement if you'd like. It'll intensify it a bit just by bringing the shoulder up and around, shoulder circles. Up and around. Breathing. Tension out on the exhale. And one more, we'll go down to the farther down on the breastbone here if you can, and if it's comfortable, gather up the tissue and traction out towards the shoulder and just wait. And if you'd like, add some of that active movement. And just feel it release. Oh, it's so good. So much tension for so long. It's just like you could cry when you let it go, right? I sometimes do. Many people do sometimes. Very, very intricately involved with the emotions, the physical and the emotional. And all the way out to the side. And just roll that shoulder a little bit. And we'll go ahead and do the other side. I feel like my left shoulder is just like dead weight hanging down. It's really interesting to notice the difference between the two sides when you only work one, right? Then you can really, take advantage of that feeling of what it feels like to be relaxed and what tension feels like, and to really sort of, give that information to your brain. Start developing those neural pathways that know the difference, because so many of us don't even know the difference between tense and relaxed. We think we're relaxed and we're like, yeah. So once you let it go, that's when you can really feel the difference. So breathe it in, live it, acknowledge it, have your brain record it, and let's go on to the next side. So off of the breastbone, under the clavicle, beneath I should say, gather up the tissue and begin to traction out towards the shoulder and just breathe. Remember to keep your working hand relaxed and that working shoulder down. You don't want that to get all tense again while you're massaging this side, because then you'd just be going back and forth all day. So deep breath. Let the shoulder relax on the exhale. Of course, if you find a good point where it feels like there's more tension or it's a little more tender, or if it just feels good to be there, just hang out. Hang out, put the right amount of pressure for you so that it feels good. Breathe into it. You can do some of that active shoulder motion to help it release if it feels good. And then you can move on. So a little bit below where we were before, a little bit farther underneath the clavicle, side of the breastbone, and begin your way. Remember, I'm not pulling or forcing or tugging or anything like that. I just engage the tissue and I let it take me. You can add that shoulder roll if you like, if it's not too intense. It can feel really good. And we'll do one more farther down if you can. If it's too tender or you're nursing, just stick with higher up so that you don't get the breast tissue. And rolling. So nice to open that up. It gets so short, pulls us forward, gives us upper back problems, neck problems. Everyone should be doing this. We've all got it. That computer posture today, we're all rounded over. We all need this pec work. Great, and just roll the shoulders, relax the arms. Just feel it for a moment. And then we'll just go ahead and give some shoulder squeezes. So we're getting the deltoids here. Just squeeze, squeeze and pull. So much tension there. Feels so good. And then you can go down the arm. You can get the biceps, the triceps. Biceps probably want it more. They're the ones working more when you hold your baby. And the forearms. Now I remember my forearms getting pretty sore from holding the baby so much. So let's rest the forearm, the one that you're going to work, just rest it on your leg. And all we're going to do is lean our body weight. So we can make a soft fist, starting up at the crease of the elbow, engage the tissue like we did before with the pectorals, and just let it take your soft fist down towards the wrist. Feels really good. It might be surprisingly tender, but you see how I'm just leaning my body weight. Now don't go rounding over. We're trying to correct that, right? So you're sitting up straight and I'm just hinging at my hips. I'm just hinging and leaning. There's no tension, just hanging out. And going all the way down. So you can use a soft fist like that. You can also use a forearm if you'd like. You'd have to hinge a little farther forward, but if you like that deeper, broader pressure, you can do that. And then of course, like the pectorals, we can add some active movement. So you can start with flexion of the wrist, And then slowly extend. Now when I extend, it's going to stretch. So go easy, go slow, make sure it's not too much. Slowly flex. You can round the fingers. And then extend slowly, and you can spread the fingers back. And just keep going like that at your own pace, gently. And then we can get the other side. So go ahead and turn palm down. And same thing, right up at the crease. And then you just lean your body weight. Make sure that working shoulder, that working arm is relaxed and down. And you can add that active movement. So this time, you bring it back with the fingers, and when you bring it forward, that's going to stretch. And if you want more of a stretch, you can curl your fingers in. And that will be a pretty intense stretch. And then you just massage. Just freestyle. But see, I'm still leaning. I'm not using my back. I'm not rounding. I'm straight back, and I'm just leaning, squeezing. Do a little hand massage here. You can start down at the palm and then sort of fan out towards the thumb. Fan out towards the index finger and continue with each finger, which feels really good. And you can relax your hand down. I'm just holding it up to show you. And give that big thumb pad a nice massage. So I'm using my thumb in there, or you can use 4 fingers and just massage that big thumb pad right here. Thenar eminence, it's called. Such a funny name. And just kind of get in there and all those little tender points. You can even go out here. So this was the injury I had, Desquar veins. It was self-diagnosed, but it had all the showings of it. So this big tendon over here on the side, you can just put your thumb right there and then bring your pinky down towards the floor and then bring your thumb up towards you. So you're just almost like you're waving high, but nice and slow. Hold that point, and if you want to stretch it a little bit more, and be very careful because it's tender, you can fold your thumb in like that and then bring that pinky side down towards the floor, and that will stretch it even more. And you can just do a little massage there as well, just circles, getting it to loosen up. That's where I was super sore from picking up my baby. And then just do a little traction, a little massage and traction, rolling, squeezing, twisting fingers. It's so nice to open up the joints that way. Give them some air, some breathing room. Fantastic. Let's go ahead to the other side now that our hand is nice and relaxed. So the trick is keep that relaxed, but also use it to relax the other side. That's the caveat of self-massage, is keeping one side relaxed while you work the other. So we're just doing our pull, squeeze and pull, deltoids. They go all the way around in the back and the front and the middle. So that's all good stuff. Circles, explore with your fingers. You can work it down to the biceps, the triceps. Oh, my triceps are sore. And when that upper arm feels good, let's do a little bit with that forearm. So again, leaning my weight, just resting my forearm on my leg, right? Soft fist, hinging at the hips to lean, not rounding. I'm just hinging on my hand, okay? And then soft fist, and you can gather up the tissue right at that elbow crease and slowly lean and get a nice myofascial release. It may want to move, it may not want to move. That's okay. Just hang out there. This side does not want to move for me, not like the other did, which makes sense. This is my right side. It gets takes more abuse. There we go, it's starting to release. And of course you can help it a little bit if you want to slowly start to stretch and flex, if that's not too intense. Stretch the fingers back, really slow, remember, and curl the fingers in. And you can experiment with using different tools. So you can use that soft fist, you can use that forearm if you want, just right up at the elbow crease and just lean in, again, flat back. And you can do your active movement if you want. I'm leaning so that if my leg wasn't here to support me, I would just fall over. That's the idea. That's how to get pressure. And if you don't want very much pressure, just don't lean as much. Lean in for more, back off for less. And when that feels good, let's flip that over. And we'll do our extensor surface. So soft fist or the forearm, however you like. Get up in that shoulder crease, lean, get that opposite shoulder down and relaxed. And you can add the active movement if you'd like. And remember, it'll be a little more intense too if you curl your fingers and take it down like that. Go slow and easy. Don't let it be too much. That feels really nice. And of course, you'll find one side sore, more sore than the other, or more tense than the other, or whatever. That is completely normal. We are not symmetrical, nor were we meant to be. But it does show that, if one side needs a little more love, you can hang out and do that side a little bit more if it feels a little more tender or sore or anything like that. So just go ahead and squeeze, a nice general forearm massage. I'm making some big circles with my palms. Nice broad pressure can feel really good too. You could do fingers for a more pointed pressure. You can just squeeze the whole thing. And we'll take it down to our hand. So again, let's do that fanning, starting at the palm and fan out towards the thumb and index finger, and so on. So nice. Breathing, don't forget that breath in and out through the nose. Nice and deep and long exhales. Let's get that thumb pad there. Give that a good massage. Look for some tender points in there. If you have them, hang out, breathe. You can even move your thumb around a little bit if you want for some active release. You'll feel it move around. You'll feel those muscles, those tendons. And then that thumb tendon over here. So you want to just sort of get your thumb on there and hold it. And then that shaking hand thing, right? So the pinky goes towards the floor. And then the thumb comes up and wants to point to me or you, depending on whose hand you're looking at. And if you want to make it a little more intense, you can go ahead and fold the thumb in and then slowly, slowly, slowly give it a stretch like so. Massage it out a little bit. And do our finger twists and traction. You might get some pops and cracks. It's all good. Open up those joints. Warming. My fingers always get cold, so this is nice. Warm them up. Shake out your arms. Let them relax to your sides. Do a nice shoulder roll. Sit up nice and tall. Feel expanded. Feel open. Feel like you could breathe more deeply, like your spine is more aligned, and like your limbs are just sort of dead weight. Might feel pretty tired and lazy right now. So just let them relax, and you know, do this as much as you possibly can, you know, in between, maybe while your baby's napping, or you know, while your child is otherwise engaged. Take a few minutes and get out that tension, and it will save you a lot of pain and possible injuries. If you liked this, if it worked for you, give me a like and subscribe to my channel. Click that notification bell so you don't miss out on my latest self-care videos. I have lots to come. And comment below, let me know your story, how this worked for you, and anything else you want to share. I can't wait to see you again.